What if the Messiah wasn't born in a sacred place, but inside you? What if destiny is not something written in the stars, but something written quietly, painfully inside your own life? Because in Dune Part 2, Paul Atreides isn't just a chosen one. He isn't just a boy lost in the desert. He isn't just Timothy Chalamet with a prophecy behind him. He's a mirror reflecting one truth most of us avoid. The universe is asking you to become more than who you are now. Dune isn't just a story about war. It's a story about why wars never end. Because a universe built on fear, greed, and powerful myths always creates another war. Dune shows us how humans repeat the same cycle until someone learns to break it. People call Paul the Messiah, not because he is ready, not because he wants it, but because he listens to a voice deeper than fear. A voice Jesus heard in Gethsemane. A voice the Buddha heard under the Bodhi tree. A voice every human being at moments when life whispers, "This is not the end of you. Rise." So today we're going deeper into destiny, into fear, into courage, into spiritual awakening, into your story. Because Dune isn't just a Messiah rising on a distant planet. It's about the moment you realize he's the Messiah, but what if you are too? Hi, I'm Jay, and welcome to Deeper into Film, Insight and Awakening. If you love exploring movies into a spiritual, thoughtful, and eye-opening way, please hit subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment. It truly helps this channel grow and helps more people find these deeper insights. Alright, now let's go even further into the world of Dune. Before we talk about the gifts of the Messiah, we need to understand the world that creates one. Paul doesn't rise in a peaceful universe. He rises in a universe built on fear, power, and the fight for spice, the livelihood that keeps the galaxy alive. When House Atreides becomes too strong, the Emperor joins forces with the brutal Harkonnens to destroy them. Paul loses his father, his home, and everything he knows. He escapes into the desert, into the hands of the freemen, a people shaped by the harshest world in the galaxy, inspired by real desert cultures like the Bedouins and the Tuareg. Their world resembles the Middle East for a reason. In our world, oil shapes power. In Dune, spice shapes destiny. So the desert becomes the birthplace of a new kind of Messiah. Not because it is holy, but because it is unforgiving. And in that unforgiving world, Paul begins to hear a deeper voice. The same voice every human hears in the silent moments when life whispers, "Rise." Now, we can story what truly makes a Messiah. You know, Paul's greatest power in part 2 isn't the Christ knife or the sandworm or even prophecy. It's vision. He sees futures unfolding like rivers in the sand, some filled with hope, most filled with blood. And this is what truly shapes a Messiah. The ability to see beyond the small, frightened version of yourself. In Christianity, this is prophecy. In Buddhism, this is awakening. In psychology, it's intuition. Some people see only what's right in front of them, but Paul sees the entire horizon of destiny, the coast of every single decision. And that's the first clue for you too. When you start seeing your own life with more clarity, more truth, more honesty, that's your Messiah vision beginning to awaken. Paul never asked for a calling, but he came anyway. The desert calls him. The freemen call him. His father's memory calls him. Even the sandworms seem to rise for him. And that's the advantage of a Messiah. Life stops feeling like an accident and starts becoming a mission. Purpose turns suffering into transformation, fear into responsibility, and wandering into direction. Christians call this God's will. Buddhists call this your true nature. Writers call it a character arc. And every day people say, "I finally know what I'm meant to do." You don't need to lead armies for your life to matter. Purpose, big or small, is the fire that shapes your soul. The true Messiah, though, has another power people often misunderstand. They don't gain power. They awaken it in others. When the freemen look at Paul, they don't just see a savior. They see themselves, their courage, their identity, their destiny reflected back at them. Jesus did this. Buddha did this. Every great spiritual teacher did this. Paul doesn't give strength. He uncovers it. And every time you help someone move through fear, find hope, or see their worth, you become a mirror too. With the title whispered across the desert, "Listen, Al-Ghaib," comes a pressure so heavy it begins to suffocate him. Everyone wants something from him. The Bene Gesserit want control. The freeman wants liberation, his family wants survival, and the galaxy wants stability. Expectation becomes a cage. Even Jesus escaped into the desert because the weight of expectation breaks the soul. Even the Buddha walked away from the palace because expectation kills truth. Paul carries the weight of an entire world. And this is where so many real people fall apart. Not always because life is heavy, but because expectations are heavier. And then there's the cruel irony of it all. The same visions that make Paul extraordinary are the ones that tear him apart. He sees a future where billions die in his name. He sees Chani crying in despair. He sees himself becoming a tyrant wearing the mask of a god. This is the paradox of spiritual awakening. The more you see, the more it hurts. The prophets in the Bible cried out. Yes, the Buddha saw the suffering of all beings. Even therapy teaches that awareness brings pain before healing. A Messiah doesn't only see beauty, he sees consequences. And this mirrors what Jesus warned, that even truth can divide nations. And what the Buddha warned, that even wisdom can be misused. Power is never clean. Destiny is never safe. The end of one chapter is always the beginning of a far more dangerous one. And this brings us to what Paul's journey reveals about you. You are also in a process of becoming. Maybe not a galactic messiah, but a human being awakening to a deeper truth. Paul's story teaches that you don't need to be ready. You don't need to be perfect, and you don't need to understand the whole path. You only need one courage. Take the next step even when fear says stop. In Christianity, perfect love drives out fear. In Buddhism, you walk your path and enlightenment meets you halfway. In Dune, fear is the mind killer. And in our own life, the moment you step toward your truth, your calling, your authentic self, you begin your own Messiah-like becoming. He is the Messiah. But what if you are too? Please subscribe, hit like, and share your thoughts in the comments.